The 1998 España 5 Pesetas coin, a story of kings, sailboats, and the end of an era. Imagine holding a tiny bronze-colored disc in your gloved hand, just 17.5 millimeters wide, weighing only 3 grams, yet packed with centuries of Spanish pride, royal symbolism, and a quiet farewell to a currency that defined a nation for 134 years. This is the 1998 5 Pesetas coin, often called un duro by Spaniards, one of the last everyday coins before Spain fully embraced the euro. This is not just a coin story. It's a tale of modern Spain's transformation from dictatorship to democracy, from old pesetas to the euro, and a small but proud symbol of a seafaring empire that once ruled the waves. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Vault of Old Coins. Here, we bring you the oldest, the rarest, and the most mysterious coins from around the world. Do you want to know which coin is worth millions? Which coin is hiding one of history's biggest secrets? And which coin looks ordinary today, but could make you rich tomorrow? So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's open the Vault of Old Coins. To understand this 1998 coin, we must travel back to 1868. Spain had just undergone the Glorious Revolution. The old Spanish real and peso duro system was chaotic. A new decimal currency was born. The peseta, from peseta, meaning a small peso or piece of silver. The very first 5 peseta silver coin was nicknamed duro because it matched the weight and feel of the old heavy silver peso duro. For generations, Spaniards counted in duros. 20 duros meant 100 pesetas. Even in the Franco era and beyond, people still said dame un duro for 5 pesetas. By the late 20th century, the peseta had become Spain's national symbol, used from the mountains of the Pyrenees to the beaches of Andalusia. Fast forward to 1975. General Franco dies. A young king, Juan Carlos I, ascends the throne, not as a figurehead, but as the man who miraculously guided Spain from dictatorship to vibrant democracy without civil war. He modernized everything, including the currency. In 1989, a new series of small 5 pesetas coins was launched, lightweight aluminum bronze instead of heavy silver or nickel. The design was fresh, modern, and deliberately abstract, a break from old royal portraits. This exact 1998 coin was designed and engraved by Alfonso Morales Muñoz, a master Spanish engraver working for the Real Casa de la Moneda, the Royal Mint of Spain in Madrid. The mint has been striking coins since 1591. Imagine the same workshops that once produced gold doubloons for the Spanish Armada. Morales Muñoz created both sides of the coin. On the front, your second photo, he stylized the king's initials JCI, Juan Carlos I, into a bold, flowing monogram that looks almost like modern art. On the right, vertically, you see España, and at the bottom, the year 1998. The mint mark, a small M crowned, appears on the reverse, though it's subtle in worn examples. Spain was booming. The economy was growing fast after joining the European Union. The Maastricht Treaty had been signed. Spain was preparing to adopt the euro. But physical pesetas were still needed for daily life, buying bread, paying for coffee, or tipping in tapas bars. In 1998 alone, the Madrid Mint struck an astonishing 923,978,000 pieces of this exact coin. That's nearly 1 billion coins in a single year, one of the highest mintages in Spanish history. It was mass-produced because it was the perfect small change, cheap to make, durable, and perfect for vending machines and pocket change. Look at your second photo. The large curved design isn't random. It is the stylized JCI monogram of King Juan Carlos I. The letters J, C, and I are cleverly intertwined into one powerful symbol, modern, strong, and forward-looking. No traditional crown or full portrait. Instead, a clean, abstract design that reflected Spain's move into the 21st century. España runs vertically on the right, proudly declaring the nation's identity. The date, 1998, sits at the bottom like a timestamp of history. Juan Carlos I was no ordinary king. He had survived Franco's regime, foiled a 1981 coup attempt by personally ordering the military back to barracks on live television, and helped write Spain's democratic constitution. This coin's obverse is a quiet celebration of that stability. Every time a Spaniard in 1998 flipped this coin, they were touching the symbol of a king who had brought Spain back into Europe's family. Now flip to your first photo, the reverse. The giant 5 dominates, with PTAS, short for pesetas, running vertically. Below it is the most poetic part, stylized sailboats. At first glance, it looks like abstract lines, a square and flowing curves. But numismatists confirm these are 2 sailboats with billowing sails, representing Spain's glorious seafaring past. Spain was once the world's greatest naval power. In 1492, Cristobal Colón, sailed from Palos de la Frontera with 3 ships and changed history. The galleons of the Spanish Empire carried silver from the Americas, spices from Asia, and legends across the oceans. The sailboats on this coin are a quiet homage to that age of discovery, to Magellan, to the Armada, to the explorers who made Spanish the second most spoken language on Earth. Even in 1998, as Spain joined the Eurozone, the coin reminded citizens, "We were once masters of the seas. We still carry that spirit." The edge is plain, smooth, making it easy to stack in cash registers. No reeded edge like older silver duros. Practicality for a modern, high-volume coin. By 1998, Spain was racing toward the euro. The European single currency would begin as accounting money on January 1st, 1999. Pesetas would still circulate until 2002, but everyone knew the end was near. This coin was minted in huge numbers to keep the economy running smoothly during the transition. It was the people's coin, the one you used to buy a newspaper for 50 pesetas or pay for a bus ticket. It carried the hopes of a nation entering the 21st century as a European powerhouse. In the international collectors market, eBay, Numista, NGC, European auctions, a circulated 1998 5 pesetas is worth only 10 to 50 US. An uncirculated, brilliant specimen might fetch 100 to 2,000 US. If this coin has a mint error, things can get interesting. When coins are produced, machines strike thousands and even millions of pieces at high speed. Occasionally, small mistakes happen during this process, and those mistakes can turn an ordinary coin into something rare and collectible. For example, a double strike occurs when the design is stamped twice, creating a ghosted or overlapping image. An off-center strike happens when the design is shifted to one side, leaving part of the coin blank. A wrong metal error is when a coin is struck on the wrong type of metal. Die cracks or die breaks can create unusual lines or raised patterns on the surface. These types of error coins are produced in very small numbers, which is why collectors around the world actively search for them. In history, some error coins have sold for thousands to even hundreds of thousands of dollars. In rare cases, a small minting mistake has turned a coin into $1 million treasure. That's why, if you have an old coin, it's worth examining it carefully. It might not be an ordinary coin, but a rare error coin that could change your life. Because sometimes, a small mistake becomes the greatest value. Common mint errors you might see. Off-center strike. The design is shifted to one side. Weak strike. The image or text appears faint or blurry. Die crack. A thin line or crack appears on the coin. Clipped planche. A portion of the coin's edge is missing. How much can these errors be worth? Normal coin. Around $50 to $500 minor error. Around $1,000 to $300,000 clear and strong error. $4 to $6 million or more in rare cases. Important note: since this coin was minted in extremely large quantities, even its error versions are usually not very valuable, unless the error is very clear, dramatic, and unique. However, its historical and sentimental value is priceless. For Spaniards who remember the peseta, it's a nostalgic piece of their childhood. For collectors, it completes the Juan Carlos I series. In USA or anywhere outside Europe, it's a cool conversation starter, a genuine relic from the last days of the peseta. If you have a proof or error version, very rare, it could be worth more. But your standard 1998 example is common yet charming. The peseta was officially withdrawn on February 28, 2002. Millions of coins were melted or exported. Today, this little coin reminds us of a beautiful transition. Spain said goodbye to its old money with dignity, keeping the sailboats and the king's monogram as proud memories.